Thank you so much for asking me to speak today, and thank you to the Chamber, Laura Webb, you're a very special person. I had a great conversation several weeks ago with Leanne, Heather, and Aaron with the Chamber about any pearls of wisdom or inspiration that I could give to fellow women entrepreneurs in town and executives, which is really intimidating because I know enough people in here to know that this is an incredibly intelligent group. And we talked about my story of becoming president of Highland Brewing. And one topic resonated with me more than any other, but it was also one I haven't really dug into until now. As a business owner and entrepreneur, you're told from startup to grow. That means getting bigger, add more staff, add equipment, add locations, diversify, expand, just grow in all ways possible. But today I want to talk about a different kind of business growth, one that focuses on impact and sustainability and values. Over the years, Highland's grown from a basement to North Carolina's largest native brewer and the Southeast's largest native family-owned brewer. We've grown beyond my father's dreams and my mother's fears, but not as much, or maybe not how you might think. 25 years ago, Highland made one beer called Gaelic Ale, and it was produced in the basement of a downtown office building. We were designed as a manufacturing facility, and if you ever saw the space, you would know that this basement was not meant for public comfort or enjoyment or even viewing. But we grew a lot, and not many years ago, we were selling beer in 9 states. Instead of plowing forward, we made a conscious decision not to add any more states to our distribution. We actually decided to pull back. And this may feel like a step in the wrong direction to many. The beer scene in Asheville was hot. Our beer was in 9 states, and we were being asked to ship to New York, Pennsylvania, and Texas. You could question us for not growing. However, by taking a step back and re-examining where we really matter and who we are, we realize the potential to gain more by pulling in, both for the business and for our own day-to-day lives. So today we're in 5 1/4 states. Our tighter geography gave us a greater connection to our distribution footprint for my company and for me personally. Our sales team is closer, literally and figuratively, and we're selling not only fresher beer, but more beer with less transportation. So second story about growth is that Dad has been asked to open a second location or a third in countless markets over 2 decades, and those requests started coming to me in the past recent years. And I've seen a lot of my peers do that, and it's working really well for them. And the data would point to saying yes to that, because you can open a tap room somewhere else and do really well. And we might make some money, but I knew that I wouldn't gain energy by opening another location remotely, and I wouldn't see meaning in a tap room that I would rarely get to see or would feel obligated to visit and would be less connected to than our home here in Asheville. But then we were invited to be part of a really cool project in downtown at the S&W cafeteria. So there's a new vision for this amazing Art Deco building, and we get to partner with the family owner of it and one of Asheville's most lauded chef restaurateurs, Marijuana Rani, and it is so exciting. So we're returning to downtown with local partners that develop Asheville's story and our brewery's story at the same time, and that just sounded unbelievable and undeniably the right thing. I'm also seeing breweries diversify, so spirits, seltzer, alcoholic coffee, if you've seen that. And that approach is working really well for a lot of breweries. There's money to be made, and generally diversification is like a healthy concept. And at Highland we've talked about it, but instead we chose to strengthen our core to simply be a better Highland in beer and brand and experience. And that is a harder track, but I like the idea of a deeper impression over a broader one. And I would honestly struggle to be on board personally with those beverages because I don't drink much liquor or seltzer. And if I have more than 1 cup of coffee, I think the sky is falling. So adding alcohol to that would be a disaster. So we've chosen not to grow in a few key times. So we could look at like an extreme case of growth. Like let's take WeWork, that's been in the news a lot lately, a provider of co-working space. They started in 2010, and they were actually boasting about being the biggest private tenant in places like Manhattan and Washington, D.C. and London. But those feats became unwieldy, and WeWork's biggest investor, SoftBank, is now struggling to keep them from spiraling into bankruptcy. After being valued at $47 billion, their value shot down to $10 billion in a month. And it has halved even since then. It's still worth $4 billion, so it's insane. Any talk of Highland's first billion is a typo. But I share the WeWork quote because it feels like growth for growth's own sake. And that has never really appealed to me. In fact, I wrote a paper as a college freshman, and I talked about uncontrolled population growth and likened it to cancer cells causing a tumor. Super dark. It's a little early for that. And to be clear, rampant growth isn't necessarily bad. It can lead to great things, and it can uncover deep-seated needs, market needs, like FedEx, Google, Amazon, Twitter. In their models, growth adds strength. In our model, we look beyond growth for value. So remember, we were designed as a manufacturer, yet today we've grown into a destination with a tap room, a rooftop bar, a meadow. And at this very moment, a line of wonderful and beloved Cold Mountain fans is at the brewery waiting for the doors to open. And I cannot wait to greet them all. And we're also building trails and looking for other ways for people to enjoy the brewery and the property and to be a better employer. And we've changed dramatically, but we've actually grown slowly compared to most breweries our age. So I have no interest in leading the biggest brewery. I do want to lead a company that reflects the experiences, the beverages, and the places that energize me. And with that focus, we make choices that lead to growth, but never place growth as the sole motivation. And you can support my theory by raising a glass of Highland beer responsibly and often. So thank you.